Hey, what's up, everybody? It's the weekend, and XRP, it's hanging in there. It's about 220, 219. It's basically been going sideways for the last couple days. So it's looks like it's gearing up to make a move. So we'll discuss it. Obviously, we're looking at this as a fourth wave. Just to recap a little bit here, right? You got a wave one, a wave two, a wave three, a wave four, looking for that wave five. The reason why we know it's a wave four is because of what it's doing. It's acting exactly like what it did in wave two. It's taking the same amount of time. It's flagging out, right? It's literally the same thing. So eventually you're going to get that big breakout to the upside. I mean, that's the idea. That's not a guarantee, but in my opinion, it's very likely to happen. The reason why is because if you zoom out further, you're right at the cusp of a major 7-year range breakout. This is a massive range. There's no other crypto on the planet that has taken this long to correct inside of a range. And you could say that's bearish, but that's actually very bullish, right? Just take this sideways behavior here, right? So that sideways behavior led to a major breakout. Now, if you look at this as a whole entire sideways base, it's basically the same thing as this, but just way bigger. So, and another example of that is back down over here. The bigger the base, the higher in space. You could see we had a big old sort of a consolidation phase that took a couple years here, basically going sideways before it ignited. So essentially we have the same exact thing, right? Rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation, sideways, rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation, sideways. You get the big blast off, right? So that's what we're waiting for. We're waiting for the big blast off. And I think that should be coming very soon. Very, very soon. It could happen this week. It could happen literally at any moment. So another reason, is we're right at the top here. You could see we're essentially flagging out in all of this empty space. So if you look at this right here, you can see we came up here and we tested it in January of 2018, and then, right, we just basically pierced into it, and then we came down, we tapped into it, and then we came back around, and you notice the shape it made this W shape. So as it was in this W right in here, everybody was giving up on XRP, and they didn't keep a big picture mindset, right? You got to zoom out and look at what it's doing. So then it eventually got back up into there, into this zone. It pierced into it. But what was the most important thing, what it did, is it came back down and retested the top of this, right? So it's basically filling in this space. So you have all of this empty space in here. There's no volume in there. There's no XRP being traded at these price levels. So now, ever since we've broken out and we entered into this area, we finally have several weeks, if no, actually months, right? So because we've been here, we basically started, for the last 3+ months, actually almost 4 months if you count November. So there's a lot of time being worked in here, trading, $2, $2, 220, 230, 250, 220, 230, right? The same way 50 cents was being, remember back over here, we were at 50, 60 cents forever, and it was just testing and testing and testing. If you take this line and you drag it all the way here, you can see there's a lot of empty space in here that this was filling in. Basically, you're just filling in those gaps. You're creating structure. You're creating strength. It's like you're building, a skyscraper, right? And you have to have that foundation, the structure, and you have to build that structure, right? So the building won't fall. And that's what we're doing. So we have this massive. Think about the pyramids, the Great Pyramids. This is the base right here, right? So we're gonna continue, hopefully, building this structure. Or you can look at it like a stair step, right? So here's your step one, and then you step up the stairs. Step two, well, what comes next? What's the trend telling you? We're going to have another one of these coming up soon, right? So you get a big breakout, consolidate, get a big breakout, consolidate. So it's, in my opinion, bound to happen. Another reason why is because this is a triangle, a fourth wave triangle. Triangles occur in fourth waves, especially Elliott waves. We also had a triangle here too. A, B, C, D, E, go. A, B, C, D, E, go, right? So we've broken above the downward resistance line. This was like a 7-year downward resistance line. We broke it like it wasn't even there. And now we're sort of flagging out in this space. So, and then not only that, but we only have 3 waves or 4 waves. 1, 2, 3, 4. We still need that big break for 5. So that's kind of what I'm thinking here for the whole entire big picture. And it only took 7 minutes to get it all out. There you go. So now, what's going on right here? Well, if we look, we could see, right? Obviously the flag right in here. But what is all of this chop in here? Well, that to me is you have A, B, and C, or WXY, right? This is an expanded flat. It's a 3-wave pullback, right? So we get 3-wave pullbacks, and we essentially, want to focus on the actual third wave, which is this wave here. So if you look at the third wave itself, you have 3 waves down, you have 3 waves up, and you also have 3 waves back down. So you have a W, X, Y. You have a 3-wave move inside of this flag, right? And then if that didn't, if that's not enough reason, then what happened after that? Well, this wave right here, what do we want? We want 5 waves following a 3-wave pullback. For example, you could see, I believe that was a 5-wave move in there on the smaller time frames. And so that's kind of what we want to see here, right? So if we zoom in, let's get rid of that. And let's look closely here. And you could see, first of all, right, this 3-wave move. And then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in that third, right? So this should be the end. And then here you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It looks to me like a diagonal would, right? So some type of rising wedge. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? And then you had an A, B, C, a pullback. You flagged out. And then you kind of built this base in here. And then you broke out, you back tested, and then you basically had this kind of like this 3-wave move. And then we came down, we retested this wave here, and now we're kind of just stuck. We're just kind of going sideways, kind of building a base on the top of this here, right? With the downside potential being the bottom of this here. So right there. So here's the thing. If this whole thing is like 1, 2, and all of that's 3, and this is 4, and then this is 5, this could be just a more complex diag, right? And then we still need like A, B, C, right? Three waves move down to continue up. Or the three-wave move can be more complex. You could get three waves up and then three waves back down and then go up, right? So we don't know how big this is going to get, right? Unless if the diag was here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this is A, B, C, you know, and this is kind of like a wave 1, and you could see like A, B, C for a wave 2, then we could be charging up very quickly soon for a wave 3. So we'll see how it goes. So we just don't know what's going to happen here. Is this an A, B, C, right? Is this like a 1, 2, 1, 2, and we're about to go up? But first we need to come back down to, what is that? Like 211. 211 or 210. Between 209 and 211, right? Do we have to go back down to 209, 210, right? So we're not sure, right? It kind of looks a little bearish here. It just kind of looks like, I don't know. It looks a little confusing. You're basically just kind of building a range here. So you got three waves down. You got three waves up. So is this three waves back down? And then it's kind of like a weird 1. And then W, X, Y. And that's a wave 2. And then we go up. Definitely plausible, but a little bit too big. Or is this, you could see here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's an A. And then you have boom, that's a B. And now we could be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down for C around that 210 level. And then go up. That's kind of what I would imagine. I think that looks a little bit more plausible, a little better than just simply, because it looks like a three-wave move. So if we get three waves down and then kind of go up, that looks more plausible than just firing to the upside. I mean, it certainly can fire up to the upside, and if it did, I'd love it. I would be glad to be, I would be pleasantly surprised. So, but regardless, we are looking for upside, so it wouldn't be too much of a surprise, right? You can kind of see a shoulder, you see a head, and you see a shoulder, and you see this is the neckline. You can see we broke the neckline, we came back below the neckline, and we're sort of just teetering. We're just basically building, we're just consolidating on the neckline. So if we can hold and we could start getting back moving again, because we haven't met the measured move of this inverse head and shoulders for XRP, which is, if you take it from the bottom to the top, and then we take this and we put that on the line there, I mean, we're looking at about $3, right? So $3 XRP, I think, is on the horizon. The only thing we just don't know is, another idea is that if this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's a wave 1. And then this is a 3. And that's you could say an A. And then this comes up here, that's a B, right? And what this could potentially be is a flat. So we have an A, right? A B, and now this is like 1, 2, and we're about to go down for 3, 4, 5 for a C, guys. And that's going to be nasty, down to like 190, 180. And then fly to the upside, right? Because if this is a diag, a lot of times you get a bigger ABC back down, really back down close to the low, oftentimes. Like, for example, you could see kind of right here, we had to move up and we had to come all the way back down, basically almost to the 786 right there, before then going up, right? I mean, there's examples all over, all the way back down, It's usually that first wave. Here's one here. It didn't come too far down, but you know. So yeah, that should be it there. So let me zoom out a little bit and take a look at like the 4-hour chart here. So that's the thing, right? You could see we're building. I mean, you could see this is the bottom of the wave, this is the top of the wave. So here's another, are we going to build a base, right? Are we building some type of base down in here before we go up? That could be a situation too. I don't think so though. I think my main idea is that this is a diag and that this is an A, B, C. And the B wave went above wave A, right? So it went above this high. That's how you know the B wave broke out and it failed. And now it came back down and now it's kind of going sideways. So it looks a little bearish on the small time frames. So it wouldn't surprise me if this is an A, this is a B, and this is a C. And we get down somewhere around, you know, $1.90, $2. I really don't want to see us go back below $2. It's a real round psychological number. So I'll put that right there. Actually, yeah, that seems like it's good. And then I'll put one more kind of right there. And there we go. So again, A, B, do we have to come down for a C, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wave 1, A, B, and then we come down for a wave C. That's our wave 2. And then we start making our way up to the wave 3, right? Yeah, basically that's the idea. And again, or if this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and the ABC is finished, it looks a little small, but you know, it could be, this could be a wave 1 of the third. And now we have an ABC for, so basically 1, 2 of the third. And then we get the third wave and that fires us up all the way up here, right? Wave 3. And then we have sort of a bigger pullback. That's your wave 4. And then we fire really quickly up for a wave 5. So I think it's going to be one of those two ideas. So we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. Keep an eye on this downward resistance line here. If I can put it on nicely. Oh, look at that. So if you notice, we're actually above the line. That's really good. So I really don't want to see us go back below the line, but if we did, you know, we would want to quickly return or maybe just come here and retest the line a little bit. Yeah, I'm just trying to make sure the line is pretty much as perfect as I can get it. Now you can make it up here, right? More conservative. You could be more liberal with it, but I think the best is sort of right in the middle. So yeah, that's XRP. Let's see what happens. Tomorrow is Sunday, so tomorrow is the weekly close. Let's take a look at the weekly candle real quick. So hopefully Sunday is not a bloodbath. Every Sunday for a long time has been a complete bloodbath. So hopefully we don't get major selling on Sundays, and as long as we stay above $2, I think we're good. So the weekly chart, here's the weekly candle right here. It looks actually really good. It looks healthy. There's no issues at all. So it looks good. We're actually, let's get rid of all of that. We're actually about to close, hopefully, above the previous closes. So if this candle closes above this candle, this candle, this candle, right, and this candle, that'll be the highest weekly close, you know, over the last, month, right, 4 weeks. So that would be a good sign. But not only that, but you're breaking above, right, this over here, and then you're also breaking above this line right here. So this area, right? So you're poking your head through. That's what you want, right? So yeah, let's see if this gopher can just get out of its hole and go for a good run, right? But other than that, the weekly looks fine. You know, you got this sort of this like little falling wedge type of look to it. But there you go. So what about the targets for XRP? Well, if I take a trend-based fib extension from the bottom of wave 1 up to the top of wave 3 down to the bottom of wave 4, I then start seeing a 1-to-1 extension of 458, which is minimum, 640, which is ideal, and then 935, 830 to 930, which is the prime target, right? So this is minimum, this is ideal, this is your prime target, and then anything above that, you're just that's just the cherry on top, right? So anyways, there you go. I think 458 will be hit, 580 will be hit, 640 will be hit, 7 will be hit, 830 will be hit, all the way up to maybe 970, 930, up to maybe even $10. Now, here's the thing though. We want to see 5 waves. So for example, let's say we go up in the first wave, we pull back, and the third wave is already at $10. Well, you still need a 4 and a 5. So then we could assess even higher than that. Maybe we get a bigger swing to the upside. And remember, you still have a lot of ammunition with XRP. You have the regulations coming. You have the XRP ETF coming. You have the lawsuit officially being over. You have Ripple IPO. You have Trump as president. You have tariffs, right? And you can say, well, how's tariffs ammunition? Well, because it's what I call empty ammunition. Basically, what that means is, the tariffs are a scary thing for the markets, right? So if you create a scary thing and then you take that scary thing away, then it's as if something good happened, when in reality, if it never existed in the first place, nobody would even knew about it, right? So meaning if China makes a deal with Trump, then we can take the tariffs off, right? Significantly reduce them on both sides, and that will make the market very happy, right? And that will give XRP a lot of ammunition to the upside. So I think that's what Trump was trying to do with the stock market. I think the tariffs, basically, if you take the tariffs, you make everybody worried, right? Everybody's worried, everybody's concerned. But he did that by design, right? So that when he makes the deal, everybody gets super excited and the price explodes. But if the tariffs were never a primary fear factor, then taking away the tariffs wouldn't do anything, because the tariffs weren't there to begin with, right? So it's kind of like if somebody went to jail and then they got out of jail and they're happy. Well, yeah, you're happy because you left jail. But what about your neighbor? Your neighbor's in his house. He never went to jail, so he's not really happy, right? Because you're only happy because you're not in jail anymore, right? So that's the thing. That's like the same thing with the markets. The only reason if the market shot up, it would be because obviously, a good example would be the tariffs, right? People are ecstatic. People are happy that the tariffs are over with. right? But the thing is, the tariffs were never really a thing. They were just there for a temporary thing, and it made people believe, right? It made people believe. It is the same, that's why I like the analogy. If somebody's in jail and they leave, yeah, they're happy. But the guy who didn't go to jail, what does he have to be happy about? Right? I mean, I guess he's lucky he didn't get to go to he wasn't in jail, but anyways, or like if somebody diagnosed somebody with cancer and then and then like 6 months later, he goes to another doctor and the doctor says you're cancer free. That person would be so happy. They would be, but what about the person who had no cancer to begin with? Right? You see what I mean? Like the person who had no cancer, he's not happy because he never had cancer, right? So that's what I mean. Like it's kind of like you don't know what you have until you lost it, right? If you have something special and you take it for granted and then it breaks or it leaves, you could be pretty sad, right? So that's how Trump is using tariffs as a weapon. He's using it for that's why I call it empty ammunition, because he created something out of nothing, right? Like normally, traditionally, the market is looking forward to regulation, right? But if you put something bad, like for example, COVID, right? Remember, COVID took us way down here. We had a big spill, right? So everybody was panicking, and then it kind of bottomed out, and then we went on a little retrace, but the majority of the market went on a big bull run, like Bitcoin, right? So Bitcoin, obviously, you had your C19 drop. The whole world was panicking, riddled with fear and uncertainty and doubt. And then what happened? We exploded to the upside. But so let me ask you a question. If COVID never happened, then would you have gotten this major bull run? Maybe you would have. Maybe it wouldn't have been so quick. Maybe it would have been it would have looked different. But it happened very fast. You had a big drop and you had a V-shaped recovery, and it went very quickly, right? Why did that happen? Because you basically gave people a lot of fear and then you took it away. It's like if I give a piece of candy to a baby and then take that candy away, the baby's going to cry. But the baby next to him never had the candy to begin with, so he has no reason to cry. It's the same thing with the tariffs, right? The tariffs don't exist. Trump put them there, right? But he can easily take them away. And the reason why he put them there is so that when he does take them away, the markets are going to go crazy, right? It's like the XRP lawsuit. The XRP lawsuit was a blessing in disguise. Think of the tariffs like the XRP lawsuit. And you think, well, what does that mean? Well, that means look at all the buying opportunity. Look at all the buying opportunity throughout here. Everybody who bought XRP at or before the lawsuit is in profit, unless you bought at the very peak here, right? So, but what I'm saying is the ammunition, the fact that the lawsuit was here, like right here, Judge Torres ruled XRP was not a security. So what happened? The price shot up. Well, but who cares, right? It ended up coming back down anyway. But it wasn't until Trump got elected that we really started to explode to the upside, right? And now, again, the tariffs are kind of giving people pause and concern, but it's a manufactured concern, right? It's there by design. It's put there on purpose so that when I take it away, people are going to be happy, right? When Trump takes it away. So it's like, yeah. So anyway, that's Bitcoin. Or no, we haven't even looked at. Bitcoin on the weekly chart looks really good. We got a bullish weekly engulfing candle. We have 1 day left to go. So it looks pretty good. Obviously, you have all of this resistance here, right? And we've been talking about a Bitcoin retrace ever since we started coming down here, right? Obviously, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You had bullish divergence. Do we have bullish? No, we don't have it on the weekly, which is very hard to get on the weekly unless you're in a bear market. But we did have it on the 2-day chart, which is very powerful. Bullish divergence on the 2-day. You had an expanded flat. You basically backtested, just about backtested the top of this fourth wave here, right? You're flagging out ABC correction, 5 waves in C, bullish divergence, big break above the downward resistance line, almost in the retrace levels. This is everything we talked about is playing out pretty nicely. So, again, all throughout here, I've been saying, I think the bottom, I think we're really, really, really close. I kept saying it. I think we're close. I think we're close. And I think that was it. I don't think Bitcoin's going to break that low. I think that was the low. So now the question is this a retrace and then a continuation down? Are we going to take the high and then go down? Because Bitcoin has been going up for the last, what? So there's 1 year there and there's 2 years. We've been going up for 2 years, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You already have 5 waves, But the thing is, do we have 5 in the 5th? Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That could be the case, right? So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Or you could say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? Like a 7-wave crashing structure. You can see right here, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? It's a +1. Kind of like right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Or like, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Or right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now, when I say 7, it's just a different way to count the waves with the subwave of the 3rd or the 5th. So yeah, that's Bitcoin. Let's look at the small time frames. The small time frames, remember we talked about, when we had this double bottom, I got very excited because it looked really good. You had a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, looked like a diag. You had a 3-way pullback. And then you had this kind of like this 1, 2, and then another 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So it could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this could be 1, 2, all of that's 3, and now we're going to come down for a 4 and then a 5. Let's take a closer look at that. So obviously you have a lot of resistance. I mean, a lot of resistance. A ton of resistance, right? All of these points, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, a lot of points, right? And then 10, and then you have this, right? So now that's exactly where we are. We're actually almost above it a little bit. So again, is this like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? And this is an A, B, C? Or is this a 1, 2, 3? And now we're going to come down, back test for a 4, and then go up for 5. And then, flag again and then continue. Kind of looks like it. Would I buy Bitcoin right here? No, I don't think so. You got bearish divergence, I'm sure. Boom, boom, right? You got 1, 2, 3, 4. You got 5 waves there. So I would wait a little bit. And what I would like to see is this for to flag out a little bit and then kind of do that. And then also back test. That would be nice. That would make me feel pretty good about the price. Other than that, we're just kind of stuck here. So very dangerous spot to be at because it could continue. It could easily just crash. Well, not easily, but for example, this could be this could be like a flat right here, right? So you have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 A, and then this right here is a B. right? And then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down for C, and then you go up, So the retrace levels are always hard. Point A, point B, and now you have point C. Point C is always challenging because that's where people are profit taking. That's where people are changing stuff, right? So it's kind of a wait and see moment. Me personally, I think the best thing to flag out, get up here, and then go for a new all-time high, hit about 120, 130, maybe 140, and I think that would be it. And then what about, let's say that theory was right and that occurred. Well, then what would happen, right? Let's say we shot up here. And then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, then what would happen from there? Would you get something like this, something like this, something like this? Yeah, I think so. I think it would be kind of like, I would imagine we would come back to this level in the bear market. So I don't know why Michael Saylor bought all this Bitcoin up here. I think it's ridiculous because I think eventually Bitcoin is going to probably come back sub 50K. I mean, maybe not. It depends how high this can get. Maybe we don't. Maybe the let's see, what is that level right there? 50K. Yeah, I think 50K definitely is going to get hit in this bear market. I think 50K would be the spot. If people are going to buy Bitcoin, I think 50,000, because you have to know, that's not a big enough correction. Well, if we started at 130 and we went down, that's only 63%, right? First of all, what are Bitcoin's bear markets been like from the peak to the bottom? That's like 75%. That's a lot, right? Okay. And then what about this one here? From here to there. I think this is even more, right? Yeah, this is 83%. So what is the theme here, right? And what was this one? I think this was like almost 90%, wasn't it? Okay, 87. So, so you had like 87, same thing about the 80s, and then you had 75%. So to me, the trend is the bear markets, the percentage values are getting smaller because the market caps are getting bigger. So I don't think you need a 70, 80% correction. I think Bitcoin, if it hits 130, I think it could have maybe a 40, not 40, probably more like a 60% correction down to 50K. What was that again? From, if we don't break the high and it starts here and we go down to 50K, that's like 50%. If we go down to 30K, that's about 70%. I think, 30K was never back tested. So that's why I'm like, I'm thinking it's going to be somewhere between 30 and 50K. You can see this area right here, right? We had this A, B, C, this flat. It was we were ranging. We broke out, but we never back tested it, right? So this could come back down to this point at some point, right? And then we continue higher. I just don't know if we go up and tag, 125 or so. Yeah, that's going to be about a 75% drop. What was this drop again? It was there. I'm going to do it from, I guess I have to do it from the complete high. Yeah, it's about 75%, 76%. So if we get up to 128 and we drop down to 30, that's about the same percentage. But again, the percentages should be smaller than the previous. So this was 75%. So the bear market should not be 75%. It should be more like 70%. Right? So, and I mean, we're still a ways away. Who knows? Maybe we even go to 200,000, and then everything completely changes. It would have to take some serious something for it to go that high. All right, let's oh, Monero looks pretty good. Monero. Oh yeah, I think Monero looks fantastic. I'm just not. I think maybe you need a little bit of a flag in here and then go up. I think that would be perfect because Monero is just like XRP. It's got a big fat 7-year base, right? It has a rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation sideways. It broke above its reaccumulation range, and it has completed this A, B, C, basically this flat structure. Not only that, but if you look at the flat, the C wave, we're flagging out. And then not only that, but we broke above the flag, right? So everything looks spectacular for Monero. Look at Monero on the weekly chart. Man, it looks good. I wish I loaded up back when we were over here. I got him, and basically I held my Monero, held it, and then I got rid of it, and I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna wait because I don't know if how big this flat's gonna be. It came down, I didn't get back in, so I think my entry was like 215 or between 210 and 215, so it's okay, but I really wanted sub 200. That would have been nice. But yeah, we have this flat here. So let's take a closer look. Oh yeah, this is a 5-wave move. This doesn't look like a diag. This looks like an impulse. This looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe even another high. And then you get like an ABC, and then we would go up. That's what I want to see, something like that. But, a lot of times you don't get these corrections. A lot of times what happens is, you start, maybe you get a little bit of a pullback, you start creeping out, but then you just, eventually just break out, and then it's gone. So that's Monero. Theta, I think Theta is drastically oversold, more oversold than ever before. I mean, look how long it's been hanging out down here. It's been hanging out a long time versus just a spike, So I think, this is buying territory. This is backing up the truck, loading it with Theta territory, to be quite honest. So if we look at this chart, you basically have a wave 1, a wave 2, and the long-term trajectory is a wave 3. The big thing about Theta is, right, you got 3 waves down. So, and you have 5 waves in this wave, and you're oversold, and you're at support, and Bitcoin looks like it's gonna, and XRP and Monero. So to me, it looks like we should come up and hit the high, and it becomes 3 waves up, 3 waves down, and then 5 up. So we should get a bigger ABC somewhere. I think maybe around $7, $8, $9 for Theta. I think is coming very soon. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But the best thing for Theta to do is maybe go sideways a little bit and put in a good impulse, put in a good 5 waves, something like this right here. You want to put in a nice 5-wave move, and then flag out, and then start grinding your way back to the upside, which I believe is going to happen here. Again, this is the bottoming process. It takes time, So you can see we came to the bottom, we came to the top, we came to the bottom, we came to the top. What is that doing? It's building a base. It's finding the support, it's finding the resistance, finding the support, finding the resistance. Why is it doing that? Because it's trying to figure out what the price is, right? And this is consolidation. And then eventually you want to break out of that box to the upside, which statistically speaking should happen because we've been going down for quite a while. Now, what if this is just a 3-way pullback and we have another dump? Well, then, we have another dump. I would then count it like so. I would say like 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. Or no, how was it that it was, I think one, no, I can't remember how I did it. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, and this would be 4, and this would be 5. But it's gotten too big, so I'm not too sure of. I don't like it anymore like that. I think this is a double bottom, and the best thing for theta to do, obviously we took the low, and we have extreme bullish divergence, mind you, on the 8-hour, and even I believe on the daily. Yeah, look at the daily. It's got perfect bullish divergence. What about the 2-day? The 2-day also has very nice bullish. Look at that. Look at the 2-day bullish divergence. That is insane, man. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for theta. I'm excited for theta. So, but it's again, it's gonna take some time. What I want to see is something like, you could see, for example, here how we came down right here. We popped back up, and then we came down, and then we went sideways, right? So if we pop up, come down, go sideways, something like that would work. Also, you take a bars pattern, right? Something like this would be nice to see. So just some kind of a little range or something, and then maybe flag out, and then start to really explode to the upside. And if this is a C wave, which there's a very good chance it could be, right? You got 3A, you got 3 down, B, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for C. A lot of times the C waves are very fast, violent, and aggressive. So for theta, I'm waiting for theta and theta fuel. Both of them are the same. I'm waiting for them to get back into their retracement levels. And I believe that will happen soon. So, yeah, that's pretty much it for theta. On the real small time frames, yeah, there's nothing really there. You got this 3-wave move. You got 3 waves up. Looked like you had 5 waves down there, and then you have now another 3 up. So we need 5. The main thing theta needs to do is give me a 5-wave impulse off the low. Like a 1 2 1 2. Let's get going here, and then kind of pull back into these levels and then go up. So we'll see. All right, let's take a look at XLM. XLM is definitely one not to mess around with. This looks like a surefire thing. I mean, this looks beautiful. You got a wave 4 kind of building up some steam in here. It's looking kind of nice. So let's see what we can make with this. Yeah, I think XLM, obviously you got this 3-wave pullback. You got 5 waves in the C. Got this impulse. You're building you're kind of going sideways. I think this thing is going to break to the upside. So we'll see. Litecoin needs to get away from the scene of the crime, because Litecoin had a big dump and it instantly came back up. So it kind of needs to get away from the scene of the crash and then start exploding up. So something like that for Litecoin. You got 1 2 3 4 5. 1 A B C 2, and then you have another 1, and then you have another 2. So very bullish for Litecoin. hbar and ADA, same exact thing as XLM. You're flagging out. Same thing for ADA. You're flagging out, right? So, looking for a move higher. But again, we could be pulling back here because this is a unique structure. You got 3 down, or actually you have 3 down, you have 3 up, and you have 3 back down, and it's all proportional. And what you have here is a diag with a pullback and then another wave up. So we don't really know if this is 3 up and then 3 down and then we get 5 up, or if this is part of a third wave and then we get 4 or 5 and then we flag out and then we go up. So, or if we're just we're consolidating here for a while before we go up. The reason I think we're going to go up is because we're impulsing to the upside and we're correcting to the downside. So, man, it's cold and it's windy and it's raining. It's Saturday and we wanted to go riding today, and it's just not a pleasant day to go riding. So, yeah, this kind of cool place we were hitting, posted it actually on Reddit. This is not my, yeah, that was my buddy. Yeah, I would love to, I'd love to go out. Yeah, it was a nice day that day. So, anyways, I just really want. Oh man, Matic. I missed. Matic looked really nice. This is a nice move right here. This is what you want. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right, and then an ABC pullback, and a very extended pull impulse. So I was gonna say, as long as Sunday comes around, it looks like we're getting stuck in here. It's probably gonna come down a little bit. I would imagine tomorrow's gonna be a red day, just because where the prices are. And then maybe like Monday, Tuesday, we kind of pull back, and then maybe Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, that's when we start get going again. So we'll see. Ethereum looks okay. Ethereum looks like it could go up more. Probably up to here. We shall see. Chainlink. XLM looks good. Algo looks good. Yeah, so Algo, if this is all part of the wave, like a 1, 2, 3, and then we get 4, and then we get 5, we get up here, right? And then we ABC back down to the base, and then we start going up. That would make sense. So, anyways, that'll do it for this video. I appreciate everybody for tuning in, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Remember, this is not financial advice. I could be totally wrong. These are just ideas. We're just trying to figure things out. So we'll see how it plays. But if I had to imagine anything, probably need a little bit of a correction in here. Maybe back test before we get going again. So we'll see. All right. That'll do it. Cheers.